Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on my podcast, first episode.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
That's great, I think.
What do you think?
Well, we'll see how we get on. Looking good, by the way.
Thank you. As
Very
do you.
nice. Oh, yeah, thanks. I know. Anyway, so as some people might know, Sam also has a podcast called The Simple Life of Sam. So starting with that, let's talk about your personal experience and what your podcast is all about. Or like, what journey did you go through to get a podcast called The Simple Life of Sam?
Well, I think to start with the name, The Simple Life of Sam, I think a lot of people just overcomplicate life, and that's due to making their issues seem more of an actual issue. Like, someone has an issue in their life or a problem in their life, they tend to overcomplicate it and overthink things. Whereas if we break it down, it really becomes down to what can I actually focus on? What can I control? Is this problem something I can control, or is it something that I can't control? Either way, there's something you can do about that. You can take action and fix your problem, or if there's nothing you can do about it, then just let it go. There's nothing you can do. But it all started probably about 2019, 2020. During lockdown, I went on a retreat in Portugal, and this was to focus more on myself, my own health, both physical, mental and spiritual health. And during that time, I then started to think about, okay, now is the time for me to focus more on myself, work on myself, instead of focusing more. At the time, I was focused more on other people, and at that time, I needed to think about myself more. And during that time afterwards, I then started to think about what I wanted to do more in life, what my actual goal or purpose was. And it led me to the podcast as well. I thought about, this is a great way for me to explain my own journey and to help other people make their lives more simple by focusing on things they have control over, like their health, their mindset, their opinions, what they can focus on, as in, this can be news, like who they follow on Instagram. Yeah. Just what they want in their life, and they can have control over that instead of letting other people take control over that for them. Mm-hmm. But my own personal growth has come from there, starting to focus more on myself and working on myself to better myself each and every day.
So with that, what made you though? Because, a lot of people are out there, they want to do, example, like what you do. Like a lot of people have told me like, oh, I wish I could do something what Sam's done and things like that. For someone like that, what would you tell them? Like what was your journey to get where you are right now?
Well, just through working on myself and learning more about myself on that journey, about what I want in life.
Did something trigger you?
I guess through watching other people doing their own podcasts, like you can see Joe Rogan, Chris Williamson, Andrew Huberman, just to name a few. And then I sort of thought, okay, I like what all these people are saying. And I want to sort of combine that into one. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the topics, especially like with Andrew Huberman, for some people, they can be quite complicated to understand, like the science part of it. Yeah. So I wanted to do my own sort of view on it and break it down to make it more simple so people can understand it. And because I'm also sharing my experiences and my thoughts, some people can relate to that and they can learn from it as well. Maybe they won't learn at that moment in time, but they'll think back to it and go, okay, that's something I can pick up on now and take control over. But for someone who wants to do it, for me, it was just taking action. Don't just think about doing something. If you want something in life, you have to go after it and take that action. Otherwise, it's never going to come to fruition. So it's great talking about it and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But until you actually put in the work and take that action, it's never going to happen. Yeah. So for me, it was, I want to help people because I know what it's like to go through that personal journey, to be in not a really dark place, but in a place where I wasn't good. I wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't happy with myself. And I thought, okay, this is the time for me to now start taking control of that.
So, when you felt like that and then the moment of, I need to do something, what happened in that split second? Like, you even getting into that state of something needs to be changed? Was it like you got very, very low, or like a trigger point? Did you see something? Did you hear something? Did you watch something where you just sat down and thought about it all? Or it's just, you just woke up one day and felt like you need to do a change?
Like, more so one day, I think. Just one day hit, and it was during COVID lockdown time. And everyone else was like, as you can imagine, everyone and yourself maybe, but everyone was just feeling low, depressed, stuck inside. And I was just thinking, this isn't right. I shouldn't be feeling like this. No, you only get one life in this world, in this body. I shouldn't be spending it stuck inside, feeling miserable or feeling low. And then I just thought, okay, I can't just talk about this. I actually need to do it.
Yeah.
So doing some research, putting in the work. Okay, what can I learn from this? Doing meditation, starting to get more into gym, and just actually taking charge of my own life, taking control of it, instead of just spending every day just stuck inside and just trapped in a house.
So would you say your current podcast is also like a journal to you, for yourself? Like you learn from people when you talk to them and everything, like a learning curve journal?
100%. Because we can always learn from other people. We can learn what we want to know. And okay, so you can learn, okay, I like what they're talking about. I'm going to invest that in my own life. Or they could say something, I'm like, no, I don't want that to be involved. I don't want to do anything like that. So you can always learn, and it's outside the podcast as well. When you're watching other people or when your own friends, you can see the lives they have and you go, okay, excuse me. But I can go, okay, they're doing that. They're all maybe partying every night or every weekend till 4, 5, 6 in the morning and just not working on themselves. And that can make me think, okay, that is not what I want to do. Yeah. And it gives you more of a push.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can see the life they're heading in. I don't want that for myself.
Yeah.
It's time for me to then just start, again, taking back control of my own life and start thinking about, okay, I've talked about wanting to be well in my own self. I want to start feeling good. I need to actually put that into work.
Okay, so how is it making you feel now?
Good. Yeah. Focusing on myself more, working out, eating the right food, meditating, being and a big factor is being in the present moment for me.
Yeah.
Because again, I mentioned this before with yourself, but like anxiety can come from fear of the future, not knowing what's going to happen and trying to take control of that.
Yeah.
But when the future does happen, it's the present moment.
Yeah.
People are worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, but when tomorrow comes, it's the present moment.
Yeah.
And then depression can come from the past, thinking about what has happened to you.
Yeah.
Saying, oh, life used to be like this. No, back when I was a kid, it was all fun. It was all great. But you're a kid. You didn't have any responsibility.
Yeah,
It gets to a certain point in life where you need to start taking responsibility for yourself and your own actions. But going back to what you said before, because I didn't properly answer it, I would say the podcast is a journal, my journal in its own way, sharing my own experiences, my own thoughts, my own feelings, what I've learned, and then what I've learned from other people as well, having them on. Because I can also add that into my own journal. Yeah. And say, okay, today I've learned this. And I can really use that in my own life. Like people I had on before who owned the yoga local studio, mum and daughter. And I learned so much about yoga that I didn't know before. And it's just people like that. I can always learn from people, but I always want to learn from the right sort of people, which is why I'm glad I have my own podcast so I can pick and choose who I have on there.
Exactly. Okay, that's good. So getting to the main factor now. So you know what my podcast is all about? Yes. Relationship. Oh, yeah. Tell me.
Well, I was going to say, you need to tell people what your podcast is about.
Yeah, no, obviously. So my podcast is about relationship, self-care, my own journal, I would say, I think. And obviously I got into this podcast because of you. I would have never thought, to be honest, to get into a podcast. All I do is just really talking to people.
But hey, you took the action to make it happen.
I know, but I wouldn't have had the opportunity. And I think I've changed the fact that instead of saying no, just go for it. As you said, don't think about it, just putting the action into it. So obviously being the first, but I talk about relationship. Our main factor for me is also someone like you, like a male perspective about relationship, past relationship, growth, a lot of those things, and knowing your thoughts. You've been always hearing about other people's thoughts, so it's quite interesting for others to know what your thoughts are on certain topics. So one of them things is, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges men face in today's society, and what can be done to promote a healthier mindset and better emotional well-being?
I think, and this has been going on for a while now, and I guess it's because it's, males are meant to be seen as tough, strong, hold it in. But mental health for males is a big problem.
Yeah.
Like majority of the suicides in the UK are from males, and young males in particular as well.
Yeah.
And because they feel like they can't express themselves or talk about how they feel in a way without saying, "Oh, you're a man, suck it up."
Yeah.
No, I get it. No, it's tough these days, especially with everything that's going on with society and the way how negative everything is, like mainstream media, like how Instagram is, how everything's portrayed. And males just think, well, especially for myself before, it's hard to just show up and then just act like you're tough every single day. There are going to be bad days, and sometimes you need to be able to express yourself, talk about how you feel. But again, maybe from our ancestors before, family before, you always seen as, just, man up. And the expression, man up, sometimes...
But what does man up mean? Do people even know?
I think it means bottling it in. Just bottle it in. Don't need to talk about it. Don't express yourself. You seem weak expressing your emotions. And if anything, it's a sign of strength, being able to open up to someone, talk about it, talk about how you feel, what's going on in your life, what's gone wrong, what's gone right, and getting a different perspective from that. So because they can say, okay, I can see you're feeling like this, and then asking the important question, why do you think you feel like this?
Yeah.
Some people just say, no, tomorrow's another day, don't worry about it. But you're still going to feel the same way tomorrow because nothing's changed. But talking about it and getting a different perspective or getting a different point of view, it can really help and can really change your own mindset. Because then you can decide, okay, I see what they're saying. What can I learn from this? What can I take on board from this and apply to my own life? So I think mental health in males doesn't really get talked about much.
No.
Doesn't get, there's more focus on females. And I guess, they do express their emotions more from my experience and from what I've seen. Females do express themselves more and, get out their emotions.
Do you think that's why there's a lot more support out there for women than males, because women speak up really their emotions? Or is it because it's more focused on just females? Because, there's a lot of things like, let's just say pregnancy, post PMS and all those kind of things that mix us up. But obviously I believe there's also things like in the males as well. Do you think maybe that's why? Or is it just because males don't speak up?
I think both in a way. Males don't speak up as much as they should do. They just, shut down in a way and just say, no, I'm fine. But if you actually, normal sort of conversation you have someone is normally, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm good, you? But how actually are you doing? Tell me. Don't just say I'm good, because it's just a habit.
Yeah.
And I do feel, I guess, again, because women speak up more about it and express themselves more, it does get more focus. Women do get more focused on in mental health. And it's both parts to play in it. Men do need to speak up more and shouldn't feel ashamed about how they feel.
Yeah.
There are going to be days you're not feeling great. And, it's not a bad thing either. You need the bad with the good so you can learn from the bad times. Most bad times, most bad experiences people have are the ones where they grow from the most. They can learn from the most. And when you look back at them, say, okay, I've been through this shit time before. I've gotten through it. This too shall pass, as they say.
Yeah.
And they know if they can get through it once, they can get through it again. But again, it comes back to what I said about taking control. If something's gone wrong in your life, what can you do to fix it? If there's something going on that's within your control, take action. If there's something out of your control, don't worry about it. And if, as a saying as well, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, you shouldn't spend more than 5 seconds or 5 minutes thinking about it.
Would you also say, like, in a relationship factor, for example, that males also don't speak up because females are also part of the problem, where they say, well, suck it up. Why are you being like this for? You're overreacting. You doing this and that. And obviously men also hear that. They see that movies, series, TV shows, even in certain reality they're also, to be honest, scripted, but like those kind of situations, the upbringing with the parents, and you said the ancestors and things like that, where it's just a male. But in a relationship as well, where the females are saying like, suck it up, don't need to. But I'm sure, I mean, you're going to agree as well, whereas female is going to speak up, a man has to suck it up and listen and work on towards it. What would you say in that kind of a situation if, let's say, a male is speaking up about their mental health and the female is not even doing anything about it? Do you think that is absolutely a red flag and move away from it?
Yeah, if you've got a partner that doesn't speak, like tells you to suck it up, man up, get rid of them. You shouldn't be with them. Because if they're not willing to communicate with, if they're not willing to listen to you, and they only want you to be, listen to them, it's not a relationship. Where's the communication in that? It's from one side, and if it's only from one side, it's going to break down, because the male is going to feel, no, I'm not really involved in this. I'm not be able to share my point of view, how I feel about these things.
Yeah.
If it's just always focused on her, where's the time for me? Who's going to be looking after me? It's just me taking care of myself. And because I'm not speaking up, I'm not doing a great job of it. And because I haven't got someone to speak up with. And you're definitely right about how TV, films, how that portrays it. You hear a lot of things, especially in the earlier TV shows.
Yeah.
Always just saying about the man, suck it up, be tough, brush it off. But sometimes you can't do that. You can't.
It's only
you need
humans
to,
in the end.
Yeah. And you need to be able to talk about it. That's why it's important in a relationship to be able to talk about your feelings and how you feel and listen to one another, understand one another, where we're coming from, why we feel the way we do, and work on it. So, okay, like if I'm talking to you, I know you go, okay, why are you feeling like this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put this into work. What can we do to fix this? Whereas if you just went, no, suck it up, now it's time to focus on me, here are all my problems, I'm not being heard, I'm not being listened to.
It's just going to be
I'm not going to
problem.
feel good. Yeah, and again, I'll feel shit, and I won't express it with you because I know I just feel even more shit.
Exactly.
And I'm just hurting myself.
Yeah.
And as you know, when we feel shit mentally, it affects us physically as well.
Yeah.
So eventually we'll get ill, and the partner will be like, oh, why? The partner won't even know why you're feeling ill, and you can't even tell her I'm feeling depressed or anything like that.
Yeah, it's
She'll
that
say,
one
"Brush it
comment
off."
that would just put it off. Yeah. With that as well, like, what about males speaking to their male friends about their mental health? There's a lot going on as well. Like, yeah, we don't speak like that. I'm like, well, okay, well, I've obviously spoken with my male friends, and I'm like, well, you're coming to me and speak about how you feeling. However, I'm not a male. I don't know what you're actually going through. I can listen, give advice, but you should be speaking to your best friends as well. Obviously, the answer would be, we don't do that. We're men. I'm like, okay, but you still have feelings. Another male, and that's another thing, like male should supposed to supporting another male as well, but it's been also going on around a lot. How even can you change that?
I guess it comes back to the same with relationships. You need male friends around you that are going to support you and understand you. You need that circle, you need that friendship, and it doesn't have to just be. You get friendships that just I just see the game last night, just constantly talk about sports or anything else other than actually how they feel. And it can go back to how we were before, tough it up, man it up. Let's talk about our feelings and stuff. That seems, excuse the term, but back then it would have been that's gay.
Yeah.
It would have seemed like that, you're being a baby about it. No, you're a man, you don't need to talk about your feelings with us. We don't care.
Yeah.
And if you've got friends like that, they're not really your friends.
Yeah.
They're just people that you associate with who maybe have a few interests the same as yours.
Would you say?
Yeah, it's sort of how you, I guess sort of like colleagues as well, like work. You don't really sort of dive deep into your feelings or anything like that with them. And if you've got friends that you can't even talk to and express yourself and how you really feel, it's like, say you got something going on in your relationship and you want to go to your mates and say, I feel this in the relationship. And they go, why are you talking to us about it? We don't know. This isn't stuff we talk about. And if you can't talk to your partner about it and you can't talk to your friends about it, who can you talk to?
Exactly.
So you need good friends around you that are going to be there for you to support you when times get tough and if they don't, then they're not really your friends. If they can't be there for you when you need it most, you need to brush them off and say, okay, these aren't people I want to associate with. I need to find people in my life that I can talk to and that will try and understand me and my point of view. And because I'm a male. It's maybe we'll feel more comfortable talking to a male about it because maybe we've gone through the same stuff.
Yeah.
We have maybe similar mindsets because how we think about life being from a male perspective. But sometimes, like say, you can talk to a female. It's like, especially in relationships and stuff like that, maybe getting their perspective on it.
Yeah,
maybe
if it's about female
friends,
I guess that's understandable.
Like sometimes it doesn't always have to be males. As long as you've got friends around you that you can talk to and, can express yourself with, and more likely than not, the female's going to be able to listen and understand and say, okay, here's what you need to do in my point of view. But again, if you don't have friends that are like that, then you need to find new ones. Find people that you want to associate with and you want to be in your life.
So do you think you have that kind of surrounding for yourself? Where you can turn to, speak to?
I'm quite, because of my mindset and how I work, I sort of know what I need to do and what I don't need to do. If there's something wrong, I'll say, okay, why am I feeling like this? So the best way to know and to work to fix it is to understand why you're feeling the way you do.
Yeah.
You can say, I feel sad. Okay, why do you feel sad? What has happened within your life within this past, day or so to change your mood, change your feelings?
Yeah.
And then breaking it down, say, okay, I found the root cause of this. Mm-hmm. Can I fix it? Is there something I can do about this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I'm going to talk about it and take action. If it's something I can't work on, I've just got to let it go. And it can be hard, because whatever's annoying me, it's like, for example, a good one's traffic. People that can ruin some people's day, being stuck in like traffic for like half an hour. And they'll let the whole day be ruined because of that. Mm-hmm. When they get home, they take it out on their partner or family. Mm-hmm. When really, that's something out of your control. You can say, okay, nothing I can do about this. I'm stuck in traffic. I've just got to wait. Maybe next day, I've learned from this. I can get up and drive half an hour earlier. Mm-hmm. But letting that just ruin your day, it's just not fair on you or anyone else around you. So, again, you need to sort of just figure out the why. And then if you can't then work on it or you can't figure out, then talk to someone. But fortunately, I do have people in my life that I can talk to about these sort of things, whether that's someone in my family or someone in my tight circle of friends. But I'm a bit of a funny one because I tend to just try and work on it myself first.
Yeah.
If I can't then do it, okay, I'll go to someone else. Like, for example, I'll go to you as I know I can talk to you about this. Or if I can't, maybe someone like my brother if I need to, or someone else in my life, like a friend. But yeah, usually I'll try and just focus on myself and work on it myself first. But then if I do need a different perspective, maybe I'm not seeing things clearly, I'll then go to someone else about it.
Mm. So a question with that. Does it, obviously let's just like keep it with between us, like me and you. If when I see you, let's say something's bothering you, and obviously for me, I can tell on your face, body language and everything. And I know you at the same time as well. You kind of just sort it out in your head. Like I can literally see the bubble and be like, okay, this guy is literally just figuring something out. He's probably going through his whys. If he can do something, if he can't do something, you try and press it down because you're trying to let it go. But we've also just spoke about to let it out as well. And because we've also realized over the months when speaking, it just goes away. We feel so much better about it. Does it sort of bother you when even though I know you, I still come to you and be like, hey, what's wrong? And you do say, nothing is fine. But then you do come around and be like, because I ask again, are you sure? What are you doing? What are you thinking? And then you tell me, obviously, the problem. But even though you know, like, it's something out of your control, but does it bother you when I ask you? But also, on additional on that, how do you feel afterwards when you've said it already and we've cleared it out?
Because I know your intentions are good and you actually want to help, it's not a problem for me. Yeah. Because I know, okay, I can see something's wrong. I can see he's trying to work through something. Maybe I can give him my perspective, my point of view on how to, sort this or work through it. So for me, no, I don't have a problem at all with you asking me about that sort of thing, asking what's wrong. Whilst I might know what I need to do, it's still nice just to know that you know that I'm trying to work through something and want to be there. Yeah. Just to support me. It doesn't have to be, you might just be there to say, is there anything I can do?
Yeah.
And just that alone it means a lot. It can even help my mood in a way. If I'm feeling a bit down, just hearing someone else know that they want to be there to help me through it, it means a lot. Sometimes it may just be something I have to go through alone.
Yeah.
Like, and just let it go. But knowing if I need that support from you, it's there.
Yeah.
And so it's something I'm grateful for as well.
Okay. Okay, with that as well then. So in your view, in your opinion, what are the key components of a healthy relationship, and how can a couple work together to build and maintain a strong bond? Or more so before that, what do you think a healthy relationship is? Or what makes a relationship healthy?
Well, what makes a healthy relationship for me is, like, when we've talked about this on my one, although it's not out yet, but communication and comprehension is key.
Yeah.
If you want that trust, that honesty, it all comes from them two first. No matter any points in a relationship you want to be healthy, you need them two first. Because if you're not talking, you're not expressing yourself, then everything else breaks down. Because, if you're all being shady and say nothing that's wrong, no, don't want to talk about it. Or someone says, what do you do today? And go, not much. Just like quick, short responses, that seems a bit... yeah, it's a bit like, sus, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, what's he doing? Is he, do I trust him? There's that trust can sort of break down from it. And then the honesty as well, from not talking about it. So you need them too. So most people, I think, would say healthy relationships when you can trust them as well.
Yeah.
And, they're loyal to each other, which is another key point. But without the communication, you're not going to go far in a relationship.
No.
And more so, you need the comprehension to understand each other. You can talk all you want, which is great talking, getting out there. But unless you understand what the other person's saying, again, it's just doesn't do much help. So you need to be able to understand what you both are talking about and come to an agreement. Maybe not come to agreement, but at least you both know where you stand.
Yeah.
And if you don't have either of them, it will just break down. The trust, the loyalty, communicating that, being on the same wavelength, just everything else will crash if you don't have them too. So being able to understand one another is really important, because everything else can stem from that. Okay, I can see he likes doing this, he likes doing that, he likes, he needs this time to be on his own for a little bit, just to focus on himself. Same with if you need time to be on your own as well. But if you don't communicate that, then the other person won't know.
Yeah.
Especially with feelings as well. If you're not expressing how you feel, and then the other person doesn't understand why you're feeling that way, then it becomes a problem, because the person keeps saying to you, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? If you keep saying nothing, or nothing, it's fine, keep saying it constantly, going back and forth, one of you or both of you are going to get annoyed at the other.
Yeah.
Because you're not communicating properly and expressing yourself. So yeah, I'd go for a healthy relationship. You need communication and you need comprehension as well.
Sorry. Carry on.
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, communication, talking to one another about how you feel or anything that's going on, and then understanding each other with comprehension as well.
Sorry, that threw me off.
I know.
Oops. Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I'm fine now. With that then, stop. So the next question is, what do you think are some common misunderstandings women have about men, especially in the context of relationships and friendships?
Kind of links to what you've said about man up. Some females might just think, oh, he's fine, I don't need to bother him, he's just gonna he's man up, he'll figure it out, he'll work on it. And sometimes they do need that other person, that partner, to be there for them, to just to support them. More so, like I think I sent you to before, I think for me, and from what I've sent and showed you, they just need their partner just to believe in them. Just to be there for them. So, okay, I'll support you in whatever you're doing. I believe in you, that you'll get through this, and I'm there by your side if you need it. So whilst most men might feel independent, say, I can do this, I can do that, they still want someone to just, other than themselves, just be, especially in a relationship, They want there just to be with them, to support them. They need that. Otherwise, when times get tough, when they feel like they have no one else to go to, it's going to take a toll on them. So I think being there for them as well, and again, talking about it, just talking, communicating, understanding one another.
Do you think like people could do something like, although there's very, I don't know, professional, I guess, like, you know, at work, people like managers have the weekly one-to-ones, monthly one-to-ones, seeing where they are at and things like that, that it could also be applied in a relationship, that once a week or once a month that they sit down and actually, you know, for people who are not very good at communication, for example, and let's say they listen to this, like personally, I would say if someone is not great at communication, that they have a set day or date where they can just speak it up. They write everything down and speak up and then slowly work on it. Do you think that's something would be positive?
Yeah. Talking about it, like you said, once a week or something like that, maybe the end of the week on a Sunday. Say, okay, let's talk about your week. What are your highs? What are your lows? What is something you've had to work through? What is something you may have felt off in the relationship? What is something let's talk about how you feel about the relationship this week.
So it would be good something to have like a recap, like how the relationship is going.
And later on, like just before you both go to bed or something like that, just say, okay, how's your day been? What's anything bad happened? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah.
And just slowly just start building it up. So maybe once a week or once a month at first, and then building it up more and more and building that communication.
Yeah.
Because with that communication, and when you can talk to someone else, that trust is always going to be the same. Okay, I trust this person.
Yeah.
I know that I can come to them with anything I need to. I can talk to them about my problems. And so I'd pretty much say that. So maybe just start once a month, maybe at the start. I'd say more so. I'd probably say once a week as well.
I probably would say
the more communication, the better it's going to be.
Exactly. It should be like more in the present moment. But for people I know they're out there, they're struggling to speak up about their feelings. It always makes me think, like, if you're struggling to speak up your feelings, what does that say about your relationship then? Like, what do you guys have in common? What do you guys talk about? Other than, I don't know, going out or I guess it's all nice talking about future and that, but what about talking about feelings? So I guess like once a week is good until they actually then have the courage to speak in the moment, because sometimes this person's writing everything down in that moment, something happened on Tuesday, and then on Sunday they're talking about it. By that time, there are people, like for me personally, it wouldn't work once a week. I'm a person that just, I just express it how I feel.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have to wait until Sunday because this guy just wants to speak on that day, it will build up. For me, that's just like a plague, plague. I don't know. Like it will just build up and build up. By that time, I'll blow up on Friday. Well, I'm like, no, I need to speak about it now. It's like that's more of a disadvantage, I would say, for someone who is expressive. But what would you say for someone like, let's say, like me, who let's say you obviously want to hear it when I'm down or anything, but you are someone, well, I can't hear it all at once. Can we just save it until we can speak on Sunday? Would you expect me to adjust on that and wait and learn about patience? But that's my feelings, to have patience with my own feelings? Or would you also say for the guy to be more open and also listen, or that's just a full-on write-off, relationship over?
It's important to be open. To be open not only with your partner but with yourself. Sit down, just say, okay, I really feel like this. And with some problems as well, if they're big problems, don't wait till the end of the week or don't wait to that set date. Talk about it now before it builds up and it burns you out and you're getting stressed and you're not feeling well from it. If there is a big problem or something you want to talk about it. If you can't feel like you can talk about it, just write it down and say, look, I've wrote this down. I don't feel comfortable talking about this, but if you could just write it down, and then maybe they write a response back as well. Yeah. You don't have to, maybe not ready for that communication face to face yet. Yeah. But at least one way or the other, you're expressing yourself and how you feel. So no, if it is an issue, talk about it now. Don't wait for then, and get it out there. Express yourself. Open up. Sometimes that once a week may not work. You can't wait that long. Maybe an overview of your week. That's what you should do the Sunday. Okay, here's how my overall week has gone. But if there are points in that week that you feel I need to talk about now, don't wait. Don't feel like, okay, I know she's waiting to the end of the week. Don't worry about that. Just write it down. And if they understand, if you've got that communication, understanding, they're gonna help you. They're gonna reply back. And with relationships as well, and this goes out of relationships as well. That partner, that other person won't change for you, and they shouldn't have to. They should be changing for themselves.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be, okay, that person wants me to be like this, I need to change that. No, decide if it fits within you and if that's what you really want. And if it doesn't, again, talk to them. Say, okay, I know you want me to do this and that, but for me, I feel like this, And it's a give and take with relationships as well. You're not the same person. We're both not the same person. We've got different identities, personalities. Both have different interests in some ways as well. But we understand that about one another.
Yeah.
And we don't let it clash, because I know what you're like, you know what I'm like. And you work together because you're a team. It's not like you're playing golf on your own. We're in a team together.
Yeah.
It's two-person sport. Golf's like individuals. You're not on your own. But if you're on your own, which in a relationship's not the case.
Yeah. You mean like that? Yeah.
Yeah. We are a team, like basketball, football, whatever.
Yeah.
You're not playing a one-man sport like golf. You need that other person with you to support you and be there for you. And if you feel like you're on your own and in a relationship, talk about it. And if it's not working out for you with that person, talk about it. And if there's anything you can both do about it, work on it. If not, if you don't feel it's going in there, don't just stay in a relationship for the sake of it and feel like you need to be there for them whilst you're not being there for yourself as well.
Yeah, I think that's a huge factor, and a lot of people's, in my friends, in my own one in the past, that being there thinking things are going to change, but in fact it's just destroying you, not being yourself, can't be yourself, and then you just lose yourself, really.
It's like when everyone's in a room, you got like a massive group in the room, all having a good time, like a party or something like that, and then one person comes in who's feeling like shit. That whole energy drains onto everyone else. And it's the same in a relationship as well. Yeah. If someone's drained, feel like, feeling really depressed, feel like shit, that's going to go onto you as well. It's going to make you feel like that. And if they're not willing to let you work, if they're not willing to work on themselves or let you help them work on themselves, why are you still in it? They need to be on their own. Like, even with my own past as well, I've mentioned before, when someone needs to work on themselves. Yeah. We agreed they needed that time to go and do it by themselves. I couldn't do anything for them because it's them who needs to change and wants to work on themselves and better themselves. Me possibly being there could have made that, a problem. Yeah. Could have halted that, could have paused it when they needed to focus on them at that moment in time. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. Maybe they come back, maybe the two people who separate, maybe they come back to each other later again in life. Maybe they just need that time to just work on themselves and focus on themselves and love themselves, more importantly. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else? How can you know how to love someone else if you don't even know how to love yourself?
Yeah, that is true. So would you say that person that you let go, who had to worked on themselves, and then came back?
I'm sure they've worked on themselves, but no, they didn't come back because it wasn't right. No, it just, when I was seeing the person, you could tell that this wasn't going to be endgame sort of thing. This wasn't going to be like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting factor because a lot of men there's a lot of men, obviously you're very different. Thank you. Said this many times, a very unique guy, by the way. I'm still trying to figure this out. In a good way. Okay. Like, these men love love bombing, gaslighting, because they're in their fields. They're they're loving that moment at the moment. They've got the skull they couldn't have. They're thinking and stuff. Especially a few people that have been in my past feeling like, oh my God, I never thought I would be with this person. Making up all these promises and everything. And making the woman obviously believe this is going to be an end game. But then years later to find out that they actually never thought this was going to be end game, but they wanted to drag this out because they didn't want to lose me or lose this girl, for example. And as a male, how do you even realize this is not going to be end game, or this is not going to be, that's not the I'm not going to say it girl, actually. That's totally wrong. This is going to be the woman. Like, what made you feel like it? Like, where is this coming from? This energy that you feel like between two people.
Well, with the feels, I want to address that with the males. There's not a theory, but I don't know how I'd phrase this, but there's a phrase called hedonic adaptation, which is, I'm not comparing to women's cars here, just to be clear, but I've got to use the example of that. It's when someone buys a new car and they're high, the happiness goes really high. And then afterwards, once we have a baseline. And with hedonic adaptation, that happiness, when you get that new car, it skyrockets. And then once you've had it for a little while, the baseline, it goes back to the baseline, becomes back to reality.
Yeah.
And that's what some males probably feel like, or some females feel like in that relationship. They've gotten that person, their highs are they're really high, happiness is good, on a good level, but then reality sets back in and they're back to their normal baseline. And I feel like that happens with relationships as well.
Yeah.
They have that, okay, I've got that person, I'm really happy, I wanted them for so long. And then once you actually, time goes by, you're back to where you were, how you felt before. And then you start to reflect and say, okay, that's just what I wanted in that moment in time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is probably people in endgame as well, aren't endgame. They're just saying, okay, I want that person right now. I want that person in this moment in time.
Yeah.
And when that time was obviously gone, you start thinking about, okay, this that's just what I wanted back then. I didn't actually plan it out. I didn't really think about the next steps, how far along this has gone now. I didn't really plan for the future, where I see this going. Whilst I'm a big advocate of being in the present moment, you've also still got a plan for the future.
Yeah.
Whilst people may say, you never know when your last day is, that becomes irrelevant because I'm still planning on being with this person for the rest of my days. So I need to actually think about it. Do I actually want this? And some people leave it too late. It goes 6 months down the line or a year down the line, they start to realise, shit, I didn't think this through.
Yeah.
Do I actually see myself with them, with a family, if they want a family, if they want marriage, or whatever they want? They don't think about that. They don't think about the future. They just think about what they want right now in that moment. And some people, again, I mentioned this before about delayed gratification, putting aside what you want now for something better in the future, which is what I did in my time off when I was working on myself, focusing on myself, putting aside what may have thought was good for me right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to work on myself right now and focus on what I want, because your energy attracts. Yeah, my energy will attract and bring it towards me, whatever's out there.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling like shit, it's like some girls. I'm not saying every girl, for example, but some girls want a road man or whatever you call it, chavs, basically, wannabe gangsters, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And they'll go, okay, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want this, boy. And they'll go, okay, I've gotten this now. And they'll attract them because that's what they want. It's the energy they're putting out.
Yeah.
And later on in life, once they've had that boy, had a few more.
They want a man.
Well, this is the problem. Because they're not changing themselves, they're still attracting the same energy.
Yeah, sure.
And they're still attracting the same, wannabe gangsters, whatever you want to call them. The ones that maybe cheat, do drugs all the time, whatever. And they're realising, okay, I don't know why I keep attracting these people. What's wrong with me? I want something else. But because they're not changing themselves, they're not working on themselves, they're still going to attract the same people. So that's what a lot of people know. That's what happens with some people in relationships. They don't realise what they actually want from someone else, what partner they want.
Yeah.
Which is why it's good to just, being single, being on your own, it's not a bad thing because it gives you time to focus on you and work on you. Set your standards to a value which you're not going to drop. Say, okay, this is what I want in a relationship now. I want this. And then once you start believing in it yourself, say, okay, I've worked on myself for this long. This is what I believe I will get. I know this is what I'll attract. Then it will come into fruition. But if you're not changing yourself and saying, why am I keep getting the same people? Don't look at the people, look at yourself and say, okay, I'm attracting these people for a reason. What is it that I'm not doing about that? What am I not doing within myself to stop attracting that? And some people, just don't do it until later on in life, and they realise, okay, now's the time where if I want to settle down, I need to do something about myself. But yeah, going back to Endgame, some people just don't look actually at the end game for themselves. Some people just look at what they want now.
Yeah.
Don't realise, okay, no, it's more so likely for looks from the male or female perspective. Say, okay, this person's really attractive. I want them. Don't care about the personality wise. Later on, they start to realise, okay, this is actually the type of person they are. That doesn't align with me. And they'd leave it too late. And then either one person or both people get hurt because of that, leaving things too late and not actually thinking about it. No. And again, you can say it comes down to not talking about it, communicating within the early stages of the relationship or dating, not saying, okay, what do you want in life? Where do you see this going? How do you feel about us? No, talking about your interests, hobbies, what your likes, dislikes, just getting it all on the table, all on there and saying, okay, this is how I see myself, where I want to be. How does that match with yours? If it doesn't match, you can end it. At least you end it on good terms.
Exactly.
If you both know, okay, this isn't what we want, we'll only be hurting each other.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, people just don't think ahead about it. They just focus on what they want right now, not realising the consequences what are to come from that.
So do you think you've done it right now, knowing the fact what the other person wants?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. We both talked about it early on, both got an understanding of where we are in life, what we want from life as well, and where we see ourselves going. And I feel we're on the same wavelength for that. Yeah. I feel, but it's because we talked about it.
Yeah.
And we understand each other because of that. We've communicated and we've understood each other. We've had that communication and comprehension.
Yeah.
There's no confusion about it.
No.
If there was,
Before
I'd think we talked about it.
Yeah.
But some people just leave it too late. And then that's why sometimes people get pregnant and the partner's always like, shit, I'm out here.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't what I signed up for. Because you didn't communicate about it. You didn't talk about what you wanted.
And not being safe.
And yes, not being safe as well.
So as a male, it's happened now to you, obviously, many times by me.
Oh, okay.
Called rejection.
Oh.
So
okay.
What would you, you can talk about it a little bit for the male's perspective wise, give them hope.
I think you've said it. I got rejected, but here we are now.
Yeah.
More than once. I'll make that clear.
Yeah. More than once, obviously. And what would you tell your fellow male community about rejections? I mean, 5 years later down the line, we're here. So what would you tell them?
I think it's good to be rejected. Because there are times in life where things aren't going to go your way, whether that's a sale, like a job, dating, whatever, like a salesperson going door to door.
Yeah.
There are times you're going to be rejected in life. And the more you deal with that, the better are you able to handle it. You can handle it more. Whereas if it's just, there are times you aren't going to get what you want and you need to be able to accept that at that moment in time. It may have been right for you at that moment in time. Either way, you didn't get it then. You got rejected. And there's nothing bad about that because it's giving you experience. You're learning from each time you get rejected, whether that's in relationships, jobs, or whatever. You're going to learn from that and say, okay, I got rejected. This clearly wasn't the right time for me. Maybe I'll come back again, work on work on myself a bit more, learn from it, come back again. If you still get rejected, doesn't matter because it's just more times you're just gaining more experience. And I have now, obviously now, I got what I wanted.
Was that in the moment?
No, I had a lot of time to think and work on myself.
I know.
And know what I wanted. But yeah, to people, go out there and ask someone. Go out and ask them if you want to be on a date with them. Even if it's not the right person for you, just say, and you get in hopes you get rejected.
Are you saying, telling me I'm not the right person?
No, this is for people.
I know.
Just telling people, just go out there. If you want to go on a date with someone, just ask them. If you get rejected, just go, okay. Don't worry about it. Because there will be one point where you won't get rejected. But the more you do, the better you are. You're able to handle it. You're going to get experience from it. And it's going to build your confidence in a way just to go up to someone It's going to build that confidence up, because that way, if I do get rejected, it's not the end of the world. I can just brush it off. It's okay. It wasn't meant to be right now.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be just for the sake of just asking out, because that's a poor girl.
If you like someone, if you like, you say someone, you say, okay, I want to go ask them out. No, I like them.
And it's also the way of asking. I mean, you were a gentleman about it. There are men out there. They will ask you, and then out of nowhere, you're a bitch.
Yeah, that's on them. They can't. That's the thing. They can't handle rejection.
Yeah,
they think there's something wrong. No, they got
that.
Yeah, they got that ego saying, "Oh, I'm great. What's wrong with me? Why don't you like me?" But yeah, you could be great for someone else, not for that person.
Yeah,
and you just taking that hate out on that person doesn't do either of you good. You're still going to feel like shit afterwards, and you're just making someone else feel shit.
Exactly.
But yeah, go out there and get rejected. Whether that's apply for a job, do whatever.
Exactly. That's the thing. People move on, but they're not going to call up the manager and be like, "Why the hell did you reject me for?"
Yeah, and to be honest, it's not a bad thing if you do.
Exactly.
Because you say, okay, they're going to tell you why you weren't right for that role.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. But at least that way, if they do tell you, you can say, okay, here are some things I need to work on myself.
Exactly.
Or maybe they're right. This wasn't the right role for me. I wasn't equipped for it, because it's a completely different thing to what I do.
Yeah.
But at least I've gone out there and applied for it, and know that not getting it, the job or the person I want, it's not the end of the world. I'm still here, still alive. Tomorrow's another day, and I can go again.
That's true. And plus, I think 5 years ago, I don't think we both were ready for it anyways. So
no, both different spaces.
Although we might have thought maybe, but I don't think that maybe we needed it at that time.
No, we were both in different mindsets back then. Both living different ways we are now.
Yeah.
Both had different ways of how we view life, everything. But, we needed that time to work on ourselves, focus on ourselves. And it's done wonders for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
Both come a long way from how we were back then.
Definitely.
Both stuck in shitty PPI.
Oh, God, yeah.
But, no, it's good to get rejected. Don't ever see anything as a bad thing. Any bad experience can be turned into a good experience, because you can always learn from it.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, you can always learn from that. Learn something about yourself, learn something about life. Because there are times in life you're not going to get what you want, and times in life that thing's going to be out of your control. But the more you deal with that, the more you're willing to learn from it, the better you are, and you're going to build that confidence. So nothing wrong at all with being rejected.
Which is true and correct. I apologize again for rejecting so many times, but I'm glad I did. Now, about males and everything. So it's something I have to read out. So there's a lot of talk about the concept of being an alpha male. What are your thoughts on this idea, and how do you believe it impacts men's behavior or self-perception? Now, this is something that I found when I was reading the book on the rational male. But then there's also... I can't remember if it's a rational male or man. I think it's male.
Male.
Yeah. But there is another one, which is a guy, Roosh V, once said, the alpha male is always willing to walk away. And I've written down something more from our research point. He says that an alpha male's strength and confidence comes from his independence and self-assuredness, saying that an alpha male values himself highly and doesn't depend on others for validation or self-worth. By being willing to walk away from a situation or relationship that doesn't meet his standards, he shows his power and control over his life. In the context of relationship, this mindset apparently means that an alpha male doesn't cling to unhealthy or unsatisfying relationships. Instead, he prioritizes his well-being and is prepared to leave if his needs aren't being met. This can create a dynamic where the alpha male appears more desirable because he isn't as needy or desperate. In my opinion, this concept can be controversial. Some argue that being willing to walk away at any moment can be a sign of emotional detachment or a lack of commitment. It can also perpetuate stereotypes that might not be conducive to healthy, equal partnerships. Do you think it holds truth in the context of modern relationships? And how do you believe it impacts the dynamics between man and women? That's quite a lot, so if you need me to say
it's
anything.
okay. No, the first thing I'd say is anyone who calls himself an alpha male, it's not an alpha male. You don't have to tell yourself you are. It's like in Game of Thrones, Joffrey says, I'm a king. And his granddad, Tywin Lannister, says anyone who has to call themselves a king is not a king. So there's that. If you call yourself an alpha, you're not an alpha. You shouldn't have to call yourself it. It should be your actions that show that. The walking away bit, I understand that. And if someone walks away, if a male walks away from it without actually dealing with it first and just, don't want to talk about it, don't want to express themselves, it's not a good thing. It's not a positive trait at all. Just not when saying, no, I don't want to talk about this. I'm done here. I just want to walk away. That's not really a positive trait. If they do talk about it and they know their worth, say, okay, I've talked about it. We're not on the same page here. I'm walking off. But an alpha, 100%, you got to be confident. You got to believe in yourself. Again, it comes back to what in that quote, if you're insecure, you don't really know what you're doing. You need other people's approval, seeking it. It's not really an alpha trait as well. It's relying on other people to tell you who you are. An alpha would know who they are, where they stand in life, what they want in life, understanding themselves, and they put themselves at a high worth. Yeah. They don't settle for anything less. And if they do, they're not really an alpha again. So the emotional attachment part, I can understand that. If someone's not willing to talk about it and just avoiding it is the best way I can just explain it. They're just avoiding having that talk or that understanding with a person, don't want to listen to them. That's not really an alpha trait. That's just scared, I guess, to express yourself.
Yeah.
An alpha they're confident in themselves. They know how they feel. They're willing to talk about it. They're willing to say, look, this is how I feel. This is my worth. I'm done here. I'm not getting this. If they're not willing to talk about it and work on it first, and the other person's just like, there's not an understanding, and there's no communication there. There's no matching of the waves, the vibes. They're just gonna walk. They're just gonna say, okay, I know my worth. I'm out of here. But if they're just saying, no, I'm done here. I don't want to talk about this. Yeah. Through. That's not really an alpha.
So what do you think someone makes an alpha?
Again, being confident in yourself, in what you know, who you are, your value, your sense of self, your self-worth, your standards, never dropping them, never settling for anything less than what you want. Understanding and realizing that, okay, this is what I have control over. Anything don't have control over, I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to let it just take over my life and let it control me. But the more so is confident, believing in yourself, knowing who you are, knowing your own identity and personality, and never changing for anyone else, only changing when you when you need to change, when you need to adapt. And not being insecure as well, not constantly asking for other people's approval. Yeah. Saying, well, what do you think about me? Do you think I should change this? Am I coming off shy? Am I nervous? What do you think? Like being a bit rattly as well. They know who they are.
Yeah, they're
confident. Confidence is a key point of that. It comes into every other factor. If you're confident, you know what you want, who you are, and where you want to go in life. But yeah, so being an alpha is them things. It doesn't necessarily... Strong-minded is a good way I can put it. You're strong-minded.
But you wouldn't put it in with an ego, would you?
No, an ego would come back to being a bit insecure. You need other people's validation to decide and to approve of you. You need that status as well from other people, not giving yourself your own status.
Yeah.
Again, ego doesn't really come from your sense. It doesn't really come from yourself, and you need to belittle other people. Ego is more so comparing yourself to other people. Yeah. I'm saying, oh, I'm betting you this. I'm betting you that. You suck. When really you'd be saying, an alpha would say, okay, I'm better than I was yesterday. Or I could say, okay, I can see I'm not good at this. What can I do to improve this?
They're taking the defeat as well as a win.
Understanding that they're not always going to win sometimes, but they can learn from that win. They're
take it as just a win anyways.
They're turning a loss into an experience.
Yeah.
They're not just accepting it as failure.
Exactly.
They're saying, okay, I've not gotten what I want, but I can learn from this. I can go again tomorrow. They're saying, okay, there's always an opportunity for me to improve. And someone else, not an alpha, would give up. Say, this isn't working out for me. I give up. There's no point. I can't do anything about this. And whereas the alpha would say, no, I'm not letting that happen. I'm going to learn from this and be better tomorrow and the next day and keep improving.
Okay. So the next bit, a little bit different, that I'm also getting into relationship-wise, or males and females, let's just say that. How do you think hormones like oxytocin and testosterone influence the way men and women contact and handle conflicts in relationships? Do you think knowing about these effects can help us improve our relationships? Shall I say a little bit about oxytocin and
More, go on
testosterone
for the viewers as well.
Yeah, so hormones are chemicals in our bodies that play a big role in how we feel and behave. Two important hormones in relationships are oxytocin and testosterone. Oxytocin means, love hormone or cuddle hormone. Oxytocin is released when we hug, touch, or bond with someone. It helps us feel close and connected, promoting trust and affection. When oxytocin levels are high, people tend to feel more trusting and connected, which can strengthen relationships. Testosterone, this hormone is often linked to traits like confidence, competitiveness, and assertiveness. Both men and women have testosterone, but men typically have higher levels. It can also influence how people assert themselves and handle challenges, affecting dynamics in both positive and negative ways.
And can you repeat the question?
Yeah, that's
again?
fine.
Just I was taking that in.
That's fine. How do you think hormones like oxytocin and testosterone influence the way men and women connect and handle conflicts in relationships? And do you think knowing about these effects can help us or them improve the relationship?
I think with oxytocin first, the love hormone, as they call it, having that physical touch, that physical side, physical communication side of the relationship's important. It's like when we were watching the other day with Blaine Anderson, having that like in a dating sort of environment. If you're just there talking to one another across the side of the table, not even touching or anything like that, not a little gesture, it's more like a business meeting.
Yeah.
It's not an actual, you're not getting a feel of a person's vibe, of a person's energy, because you kind of need that touch, that sort of brings you a bit closer in a way. It sort of releases any, not intimidation, but any sort of, excuse me, it sort of brings you closer together to one another. You can say, okay, that person I know, they're not full on tense, they're not just like...
They might not be attracted as well.
Yeah, and you can sort of, like you say, if you touch them, you sort of get a feel of a person, say, okay, I like this, I feel comfortable with them touching me. Whereas someone else who you don't really know or don't feel the right vibe with touched you, you can sort of say, no, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I don't want this. And testosterone as well, it's going to bring you more confidence. Like, I guess, it is more in males as well. But understanding how these hormones work, it's going to bring you more of an understanding of how that person works as well. You can say, okay, I know males have more. I know sometimes it can be a bit competitive or be a bit aggressive, but testosterone actually isn't linked to aggressiveness. It's more so with confidence. Understanding that, it's okay, this person's confident. Clearly he has got testosterone in him. Clearly they know their sense of self, their sense of worth as well. They know their standards. They're not going to drop that for you or for anyone. But understanding them, it's just understanding the body as well, how the body works and how the levels in the hormones can influence that person. If they've got low levels of testosterone, they're going to feel insecure in a way. They're going to feel a bit of, needing to always rely on you to give them your opinion, to make them feel more validated in a way.
Yeah.
And the oxytocin, if you know it's low and someone's not feeling a bit down or something like that, they're not feeling really connected with you, that physical touch, even just like saying, oh, come here, let me give you a hug, that can raise your energy so much more. If someone's having a bad day, if you're having a bad day, for example, or after I've been at work, come back and give you a hug. Sorry, my voice is just changing. Excuse me.
Someone's going to do that testosterone.
Yeah. So, but if I come back home after a day of work, and I give you a hug.
Yeah.
So after we've been away from each other and want me to be back, and I want to be back as well.
Yeah.
That hug, even after a bad day of work.
Yeah, you
can
run
just,
to me.
yeah, because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy.
Yeah.
And you want that connection in the relationship. You don't want to
Yeah.
just get home, just go upstairs or just sit on the sofa and just crack on with watching TV or just doing something meaningless
Yeah.
and not connecting with your partner.
Would you say people
that.
who do that, like in the past, of like, I've seen people do that, experience it, but they just want their own time?
It's important to have your own time. just to be there with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
No distractions, completely in the present moment, just dealing with your own thoughts, writing them down, meditating, however you want to deal with them. So it's important to have that time with no distractions. But
personally,
yeah. Some people might not want that. It's fair enough. Some people don't want their own time, but then are they really understand themselves as well? If they're just constantly distracted with other things and other people, when are they taking the time to focus on themselves and work on themselves? But if you're just going in and completely ignoring your partner as well, that's a bit of the disconnection there. And it builds up over time.
Yeah,
you're just going to feel like two people living in a house, like roommates, not actually partners, or not even no relationship there. Yeah, but it's nice, anyone who says it's not nice to have that
something's missing.
Connection, have that intimate and physical side of it. There's something wrong. They've not understood it. Maybe from their past relationships. Yeah, there's been a breakdown in that, and they don't feel, and they've just always had that, or maybe they've seen it growing up. They've always just experienced that. Exactly, that's what they know. Most people, when they go into relationships, they'll base it off what they've learned from their own mum and dad if they're together at the time. Yeah, and they'll say, okay, this is how I've seen relationships. This is how I've seen love work. This is how I'm going to portray it as well, because that's what I know. When really they can go, there's many other different relationships that have different ways of understanding one another.
Choose your own way how you want it to be. It's like people see that, but I'm like, have you never read a book? Have you never watched a movie? Have you not seen any other relationships? It's like people also say, I'm not getting married. I knew what happened to my mom and my dad and things like that. And I'm like, okay.
That doesn't have to be you.
No.
It's up to you. If some people just feel like that. They're basing, because obviously our the way we think of life and how we view life is based on the experiences we have. And some people will just only experience that and not be open up to other possibilities of how love can be and how marriage can be, how relationships can be. And they'll just see it as, okay, this is how it worked out for mum and dad. This is how I see it working out for me. I don't want to do that. I'm in the way scared of being connected to someone, being too close to someone, because I feel like at the end of the day, I'm going to get hurt and it's just going to end. But going back to the question as well, with the oxytocin side of it, it's nice just, as soon as you see your partner, just come in, just literally, if you want your alone time or you need that time, just come in first, have that hug or kiss, whatever you want to, be in there for them. Have a quick, have a talk, speak to them, have your day, have a bit of a discussion, chat about it. And then you can go, okay, I'm just going to go upstairs. I just need to, work through my thoughts or just do a bit of me time. Yeah. And they'll understand that. Exactly. Well, if they want to be with you and know you, they'll understand that's okay. He needs his time. She needs her time. And they'll get that and they'll give you that time. And afterwards, they'll come back together and spend the rest of the evening together or whatever. Exactly. But definitely need that physical touch, physical connection. And testosterone is a good part as well. You need that confidence. And once you know that the person's confident, it's going to make you feel more confident and more trusting in them. No, they're not too shaky. They're not insecure in themselves. You're going to feel like, okay, this is someone who's confident, they know themselves, they know their sense of self, their self-worth. Okay, I know that they're going to be like that and they're going to be there for me in a way.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've got one more question. And then if you have questions, you can. What is your love language?
My love language? For me, again, it's might not be for everyone. And I do think it's important for me anyway, but the little things you do for one another, just like the little things, it doesn't have to be major big things, which are still nice to do. I wouldn't say no to them. I wouldn't not do them. But the little things, like even just like leaving a little note in the morning. Or just like, I've just come back. I got you a little something. Yeah. Like flowers or anything like that. Just the little things that show you care and appreciate the other person and that you're grateful for them. And then it's reciprocated as well. Because, they see that, no, they care about me. They've been thinking about me. It makes me feel valued. It makes me feel wanted. And it's nice. It's a nice feeling that. Yeah. I wouldn't tell anyone not to feel that way. It's a great feeling. But little things, because the little things do matter. They build up. It's like someone has little problems over time. They all build up.
Yeah.
And eventually, either they can take a toll on you. But the little things as well, the nice little gestures, the nice little things you do for someone else or they do for you, it does all add up as well in a way. It just makes you feel more loved as well. It's a great feeling. I'd recommend it to someone else. Just the little things in life. It doesn't have to be, and again, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. Just a little note in the morning.
Or when you're just chilling in your bathroom, minding your own business, get a little note through the door.
Yeah, exactly. Just to let them know you're thinking of them. And it doesn't, it also...
It's cute. It's adorable.
It cheers, it makes every person happy as well. And you
I feel
want
like a lot of men don't do that anymore for their women, girls.
Romance sort of dies down.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to say, like, have a bit of romance in your relationship and keep it up. Don't ever stop it, because just because you've got the girl or the man as well, that does not mean that they're tied down. Even when you're married, they're not tied actually ever down. They'll find whatever they're missing in someone else. Doesn't mean it's a competition, but a romance is a huge thing, me personally. But yeah, it's good.
But they say the honeymoon phase at the start of a relationship it only lasts a certain amount of time, but I don't believe that. It lasts as long as you make it last.
Yeah.
As long as you want it to last, it can last for the rest of the entire relationship, the rest of your lives. It's up to you both when you decide the romance dies. If one of you is just putting it in and the other person's not, there's a problem. It might not work out. Most likely won't, because you're not on the same page. But if you're both, giving that romance, it's going to last, and you're both going to feel wanted and loved and cared for.
Yeah.
And knowing that your person's taking an interest in what you like, they're understanding you. Like if I come back and get you like a little something or your favourite flowers or like little snack you like, knowing that that I understand you and the thing your likes or dislikes.
Yeah.
And that I'm willing to put in, like you're putting in the effort, which is important in relationships. You need to put in the effort, otherwise it's not going to work. If you're just waiting for the person to just do everything, or vice versa, it's going to break down.
Definitely.
So
Action
you need
speaks
to be
louder.
And people say you need to be 50-50 in a relationship, which is bullshit. You need to be 100-100.
Yeah.
Both need to be putting it all in. If you're it's all in or all out. That's it. There's nothing else. And some days you may only be able to give 40%. But if that 40% is your 100%, that's all right. There are going to be days where you're not feeling great.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to give 100%. But if you're still giving it your all, it's okay. And tomorrow comes and you may be feeling 100%.
Exactly.
But just don't settle for anything less.
That's true. Okay. Well, that was all my questions. So thank you for coming here.
My pleasure.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for having me as your first guest.
Definitely a special guest as well. Well, you can check out The Simple Life of Sam on his page and YouTube and Spotify. You're everywhere now.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Literally everywhere. So, yeah, that's it.